Assalamu alaikum class, hope so you are all fine. As you know, there are four sources of Islamic law: the Holy Quran, the Sunnah, Hadith, Ijma and Qiyas. All these are interlinked and utilized while making laws. The Quran and Sunnah are collectively called the primary sources, while the other two, Ijma and Qiyas, are known as secondary sources. But today we are going to start topic Qiyas. Qiyas is fourth source of Islamic law, which means measuring or comparing. It is a legal method which uses human reasoning to compare an existing situation for which legislation already exists. Now I will give an example. That was a conversation between the Holy Prophet and Muaz bin Jabal on his appointment as the governor of Yemen. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have asked him, "How are you going to decide cases?" Muaz answered, "By what is in the book of Allah." The Prophet then asked, "And if you don't find anything in the Quran, I will decide in the way the Prophet has been doing," he answered. The Prophet then inquired, "But if you don't find any precedent from me, what then?" He said, "I will do my best by exercising my judgment." Muaz replied. The Prophet exclaimed, "Praise to be Allah, who has so disposed the delegate of his Prophet as to able to satisfy him." There are also many examples. This incident also shows the Prophet approval for using qiyas. The Prophet himself relied on qiyas in determining question of law. Here is another example of a woman. Once a woman was died, her daughter came to the Holy Prophet ﷺ and told the Prophet her mother had died without performing Hajj. If it was necessary that it should be performed on behalf of the deceased for the benefit of his soul. The Prophet replied, "What do you think you would do if your mother died owing or debt?" Here the argument is that Prophet used the analogy of debt to show that an undischarged religious obligation of the nature of Hajj should be performed by the heirs of deceased person. Qiyas was a principle of Islamic law on the basis of likeness in two situations, one of which was specially provided for in the Quran and Hadith. Here are many examples. First example is regarding use of wine. If the Quran prohibited the use of wine, the prohibition might be understood to include other intoxicants, as drugs like cocaine and opium were not known during the time of the Prophet. No mention has been made about them. The Prophet said, "Every intoxicant is haram." So every intoxicant is haram because these drugs are highly intoxicating. They are also declared haram. Other example is about zakah. The Quran asks us to give zakah. The Prophet explained how it should be given. For example, for zakat on goats, he said that one goat must be given out as zakat on every 40 goats. Giving a goat to a poor man would be of no use to him, so it is allowed to sell the goat and give the money to him, which would be of more use to him. Next example is about transaction. The Quran forbids sale transaction after the call for Friday prayers. By analogy, all kinds of transactions have been forbidden because, like sale, they also distract Muslim from Friday prayer. Last example is about wuzu, which is not valid even if the smallest portion of the body which has to be washed remain dry. Now here the objectives of the qiyas. The aim of qiyas is not to alter any Quranic or Sunnah law. It must be applied only when there is no solution to the Quran, Hadith and Ijma. Neither should it be in conflict with the tradition of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Now here is the home assignment to the student. Question number 1. You will write on your notebook, why do some legal scholars reject the use of qiyas? And the next question is, briefly describe the role of qiyas in formulating Islamic law. Okay class, Allah Hafiz.